What's up guys, Real Camacho here. So this is part 2 of our 3-part mage tutorial guide. In part 1 we went over talents and glyphs. So if you're looking for what talents and glyphs to use, you might want to look at part 1 of this series, because that will let you know which ones to pick up. In this video we're going to be going over stat priority and what to reforge. So as of patch 5.0.5, this is the current stat priority for frost mages. Of course, as always, you want to make sure that you're hit capped with that 6% hit. Missing is a terrible thing, especially in arenas, because it could be one of your primary spells that you need in order to finish that person off. And if you miss that, you know, it's definitely not going to end well, and you're not going to have any damage done, and you're going to have to wait for that ability to come off of cooldown. So next one is going to be PvP power. This is actually a new stat that was just introduced in Mists of Pandaria. It's a very confusing stat, and I'll try to explain it as best as I can. So what it is it's pretty much a damage buff when you're doing PvP or you're fighting some type of player, and it boosts the amount of damage you do, but not by increasing the amount of damage that your spells do or your abilities do, but more by acting as like a resilience penetration. So say if you're going after an enemy with 60% resilience and you have no PvP power, and you do 10,000 damage to that target, well, it's going to be reduced by 60%, and you're only going to do 4,000 damage to that target. Well, say you have 20% PvP power and you go after that same target with that 60% resilience and you do that same 10,000 damage. Well, this time it's only going to be reduced by 40%, and you're going to do 6,000 damage, which is an extra 2,000 damage just because of that 20% PvP power. So it's an amazing stat. Right now, it's the best thing that you can do, the best thing that you can gem. Pretty much the only time you're going to be gymming anything else is just to pick up some of those important socket bonuses that you really want to pick up, like more PvP power, some of the intellect on there. That's all I've done, is pretty much just gemmed anything other than PvP power just to pick up those important socket bonuses. Well, the next one is going to be intellect, of course. You really don't want to gem intellect. Majority of it's going to be picked up from your gear and also from the enchants that you get and some of the socket bonuses also. But it is important. It hasn't changed. You know, you get more spell power from it and more crit chance. The next one is going to be your mastery. Mastery is really important because it does more damage to frozen targets. And as a frost mage, majority of the damage that's going to be done is going to be towards a frozen target. So you're going to be doing more damage. Majority of the gems that I gem is going to be PvP power, but if I want to get that extra socket bonus, as you can see from my gear, I'll get the PvP power with the mastery gem, so I can kind of get like a 50-50 thing going on here, and I can get more damage and more mastery, and also get that you know, that 60 intellect. That, you know, that's pretty dang good. So that's pretty much what you want to go off of. And then the next one is, of course, going to be crit and haste. These two really aren't important. Crit, you know, you're going to be doing crits no matter what almost, because you're doing them to frozen targets. And with your shatter passive, it increases the amount of chance for you to crit on frozen targets. So, you know, you're almost always going to be critting on a frozen target, so you don't have to stack crit, because, you know, it's kind of a waste. With haste, it just increases the speed that you cast, and also when your frost bomb comes off or pops, but you know, it's not really that important. Some of the mages right now are actually completely stacking haste, but I have no, you know, interest in that at all, so I'm not looking into that at all. I'm doing perfectly fine right now, so I want to keep exactly what I'm doing and what a lot of other people are doing. So when it comes down to reforging, majority of it's going to be just to hit that spell cap, that hit cap, so you don't have to gem any hit gems, and you can just save those for your actual stats. Because you can't reforge like PvP power or you know, intellect, which are your other top two, other than hit. Because once you hit that 6% hit cap, you definitely want to go with PvP power. But when it goes with reforging, you can't reforge PvP power, so you want to change all of your haste. If you can change your haste to mastery, you want to do that. If you have mastery already, you want to change your haste to crit. And if your crit can't be changed to mastery, then you just want to keep it the same, and, you know, just go from there. So reforging really isn't that difficult. You just want to pretty much refer to the stat priority and go off of there and change all of your gear around. But the most important thing is making sure that you're as close to 6%, over 6% as you can be. I'm a little high, as you can see on mine. I'm at 6.25. I really should play around with it and try to get a little lower, but you know, I'm too lazy to do that, so I'm doing fine right now. So It's really not that important to me. Alright guys, well that's going to go ahead and cover part 2 of this mage tutorial. If you have any questions, as always, just leave a comment and I'll try to go over it as best as I can if anything was confusing. And we'll go ahead and move on to part 2. I'll put an annotation right here if you want to click onto that. We're going to be going over what gems and enchants to use. Alright guys, thanks for watching.